That might be the most Missouri story I've ever heard.
Oh, no, there were no guns involved.
We did talk about guns at one point.
There you go.
Over lunch.
There you go. See? There you go.
Guns and a cat. I'll just stop the story at that, whatever. But
On this week's episode of the K-12 Tech Talk podcast, it is our annual end-of-year episode where we review our predictions from last year, discuss the major themes of 2025, and make our predictions for 2026. Thanks for listening.
Live from the NTP studios, this is the K-12 Tech Talk podcast. This is episode 244. My name is Josh, Tech Director from Mid-Missouri. Down the river from me is Chris. Hello, Chris.
hello.
And through the woods is Mark.
Oh, that was a good one.
I know. See?
Well done.
Keeping you on your toes. Yep. How are you gentlemen doing? Chris, go ahead and say it. I can tell you got the look on your face.
I had a day. It was
Oh, yeah. We need to.
ups and downs today.
You were telling us that you were smoking some ribs for a holiday party.
Yep. Today was tech and maintenance launch Christmas celebration. So maintenance guy John, who's also known with Midwest Tech Talk, he's doing pulled pork. I did 4 racks of ribs, and everybody brings like a dish.
To be fair, John just isn't known in the world of K-12 Tech Talk and Midwest Tech Talk. He's known in the world of he's
on Fortune Fire. And all that
he's
stuff.
a TV star. Yeah,
and we agreed. So he's better at pulled pork than I am, and we debate on ribs. He likes like the tug, like off the bone, and I just like it to like fall off the bone. Nonetheless, that's what I'm doing. I got up at five this morning,
which is super early
these.
for you.
Yeah, 1,000%. So I'm doing the bit, and like I do 3-2-1 method. 3 hours, it's just sitting in the smoker. Then you come home, 2 hours in foil. I do some apple juice, then an hour off, whatever. In the midst of that, I'm needing to go home, and our core switch district core, like everything running through this bad boy, pukes. It's finals week for us. Phones are down. Everything is down. So my 3-2-1 became 3-3-15 minutes. Because I did choose. I had a moment today where I was like, do I choose ribs or the network? Like, which is it?
Okay, I have to throw a little bit of levity into this and maybe a little reach from the great beyond here. You know who this was, right?
Pate messing with me?
This was Pate messing with
the ghost of Pate.
Yeah, he was reaching out from the great beyond.
But my switch puked, like, even to console into it, like it was slow to authenticate. So I did like what would Josh do, and that's just start pulling on stuff. So I just ripped out power cords from the back. I think I unplugged, I'm going to say low number of 15, 16 cords. It would have been even. It would have been 16 because I was laughing too. Cause I was like, we got good battery backups and a good spread, good redundancy. So you can't just unplug one cord. You got to unplug, 2. And these cords are going from one UPS to another. So I can't just shut down a UPS and know that I'm killing all these things off. So again, we're in the pocket. Everybody's freaking out. So I just start pulling cords. And then I got network back up. Phones were still down. So small confessional here. Like again, ribs, lunch is coming. It's a big deal. Network up. That's me. Phones are down. That's ultimately me, but that's Matt. So I was like, Matt, I gotta go do the ribs. And he's like looking at me because the phones are still down. I was like, that's you, man. Get these phones up. And I took off home. I
mean, you are delegating. That's what a good boss does.
That might be the most Missouri story I've ever heard.
Oh, no, there were no guns involved.
That's true.
I mean, it's Missouri.
We did talk about guns at one point.
There you go.
Over lunch.
There you go. See? There you go.
Guns and a cat. I'll just stop the story at that, whatever. But that was brought up. Not tech department. That was the maintenance guys. I mean, to barely, I guess, unpack that. There was a cat around the district, and there was some debate on should you shoot,
all right,
shoot cat, not shoot cat. Is it on school property? Is it not?
No.
Trespassing.
There are 49 other states of people that are just not with you at the same time.
That is all. None of that happened. We just ran a scenario.
Okay. All
right. It was a
exercise.
tabletop
If there
exercise.
was a cat on campus that wasn't invited.
Anyways, great lunch. Had a long day. It was a day. Put it in a bow. Move on from that. But it was a day.
Do you want to hit a sponsor real quick, or?
Yeah, for sure. Right. Meter, a new sponsor of the podcast, and they're going to hang out with us for several months. I mentioned this last time, and this is just good advice. E-rate season is here. You should, if you're like Josh, you've already done your 470s and you're figuring out what you're going to go with. If you're like me, you haven't done your 470s yet, but that's a great time always to think about what you got going on in your school district. So Meter in particular has to do with your district's networking. You can think about Meter kind of like subscription-based networking. They're going to bring in the equipment. They're going to do the install and be alongside you as the install happens. They're going to manage the network with you. You can go to meter.com/K12 Tech Talk. That's meter.com/K12 Tech Talk to book a demo with them and to learn more about them. And yeah, mention us, follow that link to get in touch with them, learn more about Meter.
So yeah, last week we had our admin meeting. I was asked by my superintendent to run a tabletop exercise scenario, and I did a little bit different. I started it out with, it wasn't a technical exercise. This is a continuity of operations exercise and a thought exercise for admin team. So telling on myself here, I used Gemini to develop the tabletop scenario and to develop questions that involved everybody in the room. Like I said, this wasn't going to be a technical discussion, so I wanted the questions pointed at the administrators and their comfort level of operating the school day, having lunch, doing medication passes or medication administration without key resources. I had questions about, can you hold an IEP meeting in the middle of a day when there's no network access to our director of student services? Food service director had a couple questions. Our maintenance director had a couple questions about door locks directed at him. I highly recommend that you do an exercise like this with your admin team. But if you do it, don't make it a technical exercise. It needs to be the conversation that's going to impact those key people in the room. And we stepped through each day. And at the end of each day, I said, okay, principals, Chris, I stole this from you. I asked the principals first, are you comfortable having school? And once they answered, I went to my central office administrators and said, okay, are you comfortable having school? Because we need to know what each other's threshold is for canceling school. I thought it went really, really well. Superintendent was very pleased. I had a couple emails from principals after the fact saying that it was a good thought exercise for them. Chris, you did something similar not long ago, right?
I guess to the similar vibe of not getting too technical, I felt like when that question was asked, hey, principals, would you guys still have school? And they're like, yeah. And then like you look at the superintendent and you can see that he is starting to change or think through things differently. And then it reached a point where the principals was like, no, we'd like to dismiss earlier, or we like to not have school. And the superintendent was like, no, we're still going.
Yeah.
And that was what shaped the aftermath of looking back and some of the technical things that we could look at. We got to reprioritize, like getting the bells back up mattered far more in that scenario we ran than what we thought.
Sure.
Like what the tech people thought was the top priority was not. Like we literally changed some of our response plan just based upon those loose conversations when they were running through things.
It was funny. A comment came up from one of our principals. He's like, hey, with these new smart boards that we have, if we don't have network, could a teacher attach their cell phone to the smart board, like kind of cast to it, if they wanted to show a YouTube video or something like that? And I brought over my techs. I only have two technicians. I brought over my techs to kind of take notes and be an observer, fly on the wall. And I'm kind of hemming and hawing with this answer about phone to smartboard. And my technician from the back of the room is like, yes, we can do it. I said, however, no one from the IT department is going to be available to assist you in trying to figure that out.
Good point.
The teacher is going to be on their own at this point because my guys are likely going to be re-imaging machines in this scenario. I'm going to be locked in a closet somewhere. Like
Chris is going to be back home with his ribs.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm putting the barbecue sauce on.
You don't sauce ribs.
I didn't. Yeah, I said that. I don't do that.
You don't sauce. Don't sauce. If your meat needs sauce, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah, Mark.
So yeah, it was, and part of this conversation, we realized that we could move, if I take the network down on main campus, we could move our operations center to our maintenance building. And our central office folks could set up home base in the maintenance building. We could have phones working. We could have internet working because they're an island off upon themselves. So through this process, our maintenance director is like, hey, could you guys just come up here because we're off on our own? You could use internet up here. You could send your messages from here, whatever. I'm like, that's exactly why we just had this scenario, to think through these opportunities to keep things running. Yeah, it was really, really good. Really good. So I highly recommend you guys, you listeners out there, do that with your admin teams.
Well, sure. Check out Visor. That's visor.com/K12 Tech Talk. They can do your inventory and your asset management. Visor's been with us all through 2025, and this is like our recap episode. We want to thank Visor for hanging out with us, and they're going to hang out with us through all of 2026. They have a pretty cool school-minded, budget-friendly solution with them that you can check out for large schools as well. So check out visor.com/K12 Tech Talk.
All right. We're gonna do what I think every TV show and podcast and streaming service is doing right now, and that's our annual recap. So we do this every year. We talk about the major stories of the previous year and talk about our predictions for the following year. And gentlemen, I have also gone through last year's episode to see how we did, whether or not our predictions were right or wrong. So where do you want to start?
I don't know, but you've been like grinning about this and like sending little text messages about this. I know you're excited, which I think means that Josh and I are fools.
And he comes, and Mark magically, Mark will come out looking like a genius.
Magic Mark.
Magic Mark.
All right, let's do it.
All right, should we start with the major topics of 2025 and then go through our predictions?
Yeah, I love that.
Sure.
Okay. The three major themes that we've talked about, and there was a whole lot that happened in 2025, but the stuff that impacted K-12 IT leadership and directors the most, number one, I think for the last few years in a row, it has been AI. But this year, particularly for me, felt like AI went more mainstream into the more core products that districts are using. And so we started to see the major players begin to release their K-12 offerings and show their cards in terms of how Google and OpenAI are going to be handling K-12 in their platforms. So Google released a ton of changes over the summertime. They also coincided that with quite a big price increase that we also saw. So we're starting to see the cost of our major tools going up. And then in the fall, we obviously talked about OpenAI releasing ChatGPT for teachers. And then you've got some of the other players like PowerSchool releasing PowerBuddy and going very hard on that. So for me, 2025 felt like AI is moving from being the extra supplementary tools to actually being embedded in the stuff that we're using every day.
Yeah, I think AI, well, I won't get into predictions, but yes, this was definitely the year for adoption, or people getting closer to adoption. Like our case, we're rolling Notebook LM for our upper grades. We're thinking about doing a Gemini pilot. There are schools, Chris, not too far from us, that have turned Gemini on. Here you go, have at it. I think that's going to be a continuing trend as well.
For sure.
So one of the big topics of the year, no surprise, cybersecurity, but this is a little different, focused on the vendor scrutiny. PowerSchool taught us a bunch of lessons. I think we're seeing a number of vendors take action based off of what happened with PowerSchool and some basic security and precautions. That was a big story for the year. I think it's good to finally start seeing districts and consortiums hold vendors responsible for this stuff. Hopefully, this is a trend that continues well beyond 2026, or well beyond 2025 into 26 and beyond. To me, this was a trend that I was happy to see. Some onus and some ownership being placed at the vendors' feet on these issues.
Josh, can we rant on this really quick with Infinite Campus that happened to us today? This
plugs in really well with what happened to us today.
So like a couple weeks ago, so we do Google Single Sign-On with Infinite Campus, and then we also do MFA, where we'd say a new device, and we would say once a day, send an email code.
See, we didn't. We were just a new device.
Okay. That had been working like a champ since we moved to Infinite Campus. So
3 years it's been like that, right?
Yeah. So then one day it died. So none of my users could log in that morning. It was a terrible day. did an Infinite Campus ticket. They've been working on it. The quick advice was to basically turn off some of the Infinite Campus MFA. And we can get into the whole, like, well, your Google single sign-on. So, you have Google MFA and, you're still doing on that side of the house, whatever. But we choose as a district, we're going to do that side of the house. And then we're also going to do this email thing through campus as well. So you and I haven't actually discussed.
No.
This has been parallel. So you're dealing with that too.
Yep. So
then fast forward.
Wait, time out.
Yeah, go ahead.
One of the fixes that Infinite Campus said, if you didn't want to disable MFA at login, was to have the user go find an old code and use the old code. And the old code worked.
Yeah, the workaround was I sent that out to my staff.
Yes, I did too.
I gave them directions on how to in Gmail do a proper search.
Yes.
To find the last good email with the code.
It's sinking in on Mark here.
The MFA codes for your student information system do not expire.
No, it gets
These
better.
were not.
It gets better, Mark. It gets better.
So we've been doing this stuff, and this is just one of those things. We talk literally every day. We're always texting each other, but we didn't compare notes on this. So their fix, we went on the fix because they said they fixed it. Well, the fix was the fix is that they're not fixing it. So fun in the midst of today with my switch being down and my ribs for lunch. I'm not paying attention. We have that Discord bit that we're on, and Josh is posting like his ticket exchange with campus, and I'm reading it.
Was mad at me.
I'm reading it, and when I read it, I thought it was what I wrote because that's what I've been saying. Because their fix is. They decided that districts that have Google single sign-on don't need campus, the MFA, the email-based stuff. They've decided that that's enough. That we should just give a thumbs up. They decided that for us.
And said that it was broken. It should have never been prompting for MFA on SSO. And I said, wait, it's always done this for the 3 years we have been on campus. It has always done. Yeah, it's been broken. So we turned it off. Our stance is we're turning it off unless you.
If you had like the local, if you didn't do Google single sign on, you could get the email based stuff all day.
My reply to that was, you are making a very large assumption that every district that SSOs with Google is enforcing MFA with Google.
Yeah, which ties literally into this scrutiny. Me and Josh and Mark would not, and Mark's drinking from a fire hydrant with this, but we call bullcrap on this Infinite Campus.
Yeah, and they're saying they did it to get rid of MFA fatigue. I said, well, that's not your decision to make. That's mine. I will be submitting a feature request.
My people, we are track runners.
Yeah.
We will not get fatigued.
I said I will be submitting a feature request. I was so mad at that lady, and she was getting cranky with me.
Isn't that crazy, Mark? Are we right?
That's insane. I also really wish I could have been a fly on the wall for Josh because I know that he would have handled this calmly, coolly, and collectively.
I was not worked up.
Nope. No,
I read what you said.
No, I heard your first comment. She was frustrated with you.
Oh yeah,
you were frustrated with her.
She got toned with me quick.
Okay.
Anyway, that's literally what we're talking about. We need to scrutinize who we work with. They shouldn't tell us what to do. We tell you what we do.
Yes.
Stupid.
And then our last major trend. Chris, you want to jump on this one?
Yeah, funding uncertainty. There was a lot of funding uncertainty. It played out with E-rate. E-rate did get saved by the Supreme Court, but we had several months going by where we didn't know what the future was going to hold with the E-rate program. We had several months going on where we didn't know what, and we still feel this way with the Department of Education, with CISA and MSISAC. We saw those cuts happen. That's 2025. If you look back on that, funding uncertainty across the board.
Well, and that doesn't even take into account local state funding with either promises to remove property tax, real estate tax, or senior tax freezes. Not only is funding at the federal level in question, funding at the state and local level is even probably a bigger question at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. This was a year ago. We were talking about it before Trump had taken office, and we were just kind of predicting that funding was going to be chaotic because of the end of ESSER and everything. And then we start to see just absolute chaos at the federal level.
So, Mark, what predictions did we make, and how correct are we?
Give us good news.
We did well. Let's start with Chris's predictions. So Chris had said, very, very aligned with what we just talked about. Chris had said, AI will be less trendy and districts will start to pick their preferred solution.
Okay.
AI will become a supported tool as opposed to the Wild West.
Okay.
I like that. Yeah. Thank you, Mark.
And Chris's other prediction was, my hope for 2025 is that Google makes their security tools available as part of their free suite.
Dang, man.
Chris, not only did they not move any of the security to the free product, they made the paid product significantly more expensive. So,
I forgot about that. Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Well, I missed the mark on that one.
You got a 50-50. We'll give you that one.
How'd Josh do?
Josh, you said that funding will be a concern at the federal level, and there will be a ton of change at the federal level. But chaos is not the right term.
No, I probably meant that it was going to be worse than chaos, not better. Funding will continue to be a concern. I think chaos isn't the right word.
You also said that my hope is that the Supreme Court sides with E-rate.
Nice.
But that more cybersecurity items will be added to eligible services. Could not have been more wrong. We went the opposite direction. More services were taken out of the eligible cybersecurity.
Well, it's not cyber. Like hotspots aren't cyber.
Eligible services. True.
We had hope.
True. Yeah. The other one, Josh, you mentioned, I can't say if you're right or wrong on this one. You had said that PoE BT standard will be more common.
Yes.
What a weird thing to bring up.
I don't remember saying that, but okay.
What?
I'm assuming you had just completed a bid or something like that, and it was top of mind.
What a nerd, man.
I do not remember saying that. I said that? Hardware standpoint, I think you're going to start seeing more and more devices rely on the new PoE standard. I mean, it's not new. BT.
Let's talk about PoE standards and how they're going to progress in 2026. Anyway, that's a buzzer for sure.
No.
I said I've got kind of 4 items sprinkled throughout the episode. So I said the first thing I said was that by the end of the year we'll be talking about how to roll out student MFA because we're going to start to see more attacks directed at students.
Yeah.
Say I got that one right. I said we're going to see ed tech companies hit with more cybersecurity and privacy issues, and that's going to be the big conversation. Little did we know that as we were recording that episode, there was a 19-year-old in school systems ready to unleash that whole situation.
Yep.
I also said that, this is my big prediction, I think big tech is going to be in the spotlight next year. Boy, was I wrong when they cuddled up to the president, and now big tech is, I would say, reaping the benefits of their political advocacy.
I would wish big tech would cuddle up with me.
2026.
And then my last prediction is I said I hope that there are more cybersecurity resources available for districts, and CISA and MS Isaac play a more important role. Boy, was I wrong on that one. We saw cybersecurity funding dropping and MS Isaac funding being swept out from underneath them. So I'd say we got a C on our predictions, C minus maybe.
I don't know. Power, BT, man, I don't understand why I was talking about.
We have talked about PoE standards one time in the last year on that episode.
Probably the last 5 years.
Yes. Yeah. So we did okay with our predictions. I think there's a couple of the big ones we were pretty spot on with. All right. What are your predictions for 2026? What are going to be the big conversations? What are going to be the big trends, the big themes? What's going to happen? Who wants to go first?
My big one is going to be a push on screen time. We're already seeing it, that bill being proposed at Missouri. A couple other states are doing similar things. I think there is going to be a new rally cry about lowering the amount of time, especially little kids, are using a Chromebook during the day. I think you'll see a couple really big cyber incidents take place. And I think funding, I think funding is going to be a nightmare. You're going to start seeing districts really pay attention to usage stats and ROI on all of these ed tech applications that they're spending money on, and if they are really a value to the district.
But what about those Bluetooth standards? Anything happening on that one?
No, Mark, power standards.
Sorry, PoE.
Yes, BT will become even more popular, Mark, than it did this year.
I said a very similar thing. I said screen
BT?
time. That was no. But screen time, I said that was going to be the most dominant conversation. Or I said I think that's going to be the most dominant conversation for next year. I do, though, I'm going to add a little bit of a twist, and this is where I'm a little bit more negative on it. I think that conversation will grind to a halt at the federal level with midterms coming up and it being such a polarizing issue, because screen time talks about social media and AI and computer use and ed techs and big tech. And so I think that will grind the conversation to a very, very slow pace. And I don't think we're going to really see any meaningful legislation at the federal level because of the midterms. But I do think, to your point, Josh, yes, school districts, states are going to be talking about it. We're seeing states passing legislation right now. It'll be a little bit ugly and chaotic because now we have a district by district issue, just like cell phones. But just like cell phones, we're seeing more and more states taking on the issue and begin pushing guidance down to schools.
What else?
I unfortunately think the AI whack-a-mole game is going to get way worse. Right now, we're spending so much time trying to control where our kids can get access to AI and what they're using. And I only see it getting worse and worse. I think 2026 is going to be pretty bad in terms of where AI pops up and how much time technology leaders and district leaders have to spend addressing AI just popped up in that app that you didn't know it was going to have AI for and all that stuff. So I think, unfortunately, I think that's going to be a bigger part of our jobs moving forward, is smacking down the different applications that start adopting AI. And then to your point, Josh, about funding, I think the EdTech bubble, the AI EdTech bubble is going to start to burst. I think we'll start to see the first round of different K-12 AI apps start to sunset as more and more districts start to take up AI within their major platforms, their SIS and their collaboration suite. So those are my 3 predictions.
All right, here I go. I agree with screen time. I don't know how that story ends. I was talking to my assistant superintendent. She was just bringing up the quick point. So Missouri has that bill right now, the 45 minutes for K-5. That even gets quickly interesting when you think about come testing time, when we do all those practice things for the literal test, and how the actual test takes more than 45 minutes a day. Typically, there's just some interesting stuff to unpack with that. And that's, again, speaking to a person that read the article, responded to me quickly, and is already throwing out some really interesting nuggets that, again, what have our lawmakers even thought about?
So your state assessment takes longer than 45 minutes on the computer.
4 or 5 hours.
But then the state law is going to limit them. So, that's a fun one.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Quickly interesting.
Each session can be 2 hours, and they do sometimes 1-2 sessions a day. So
I don't how screen time. Yes, how that ends, I have no idea. But I completely agree. I think it's going to be a hot topic. I might be saying this next one because it's kind of whatever on my heart. But I think student data privacy still has work to be done. So I want to say that 2026, that all those schools that haven't quote unquote cared or made that a priority, I think those conversations are going to come up more. Schools are going to care more about a DPA, care more about being aligned with a bigger organization that has that stuff taken care of. And then the last one I would say, I'm already experiencing it, is computer device prices going up in 2026 with the RAM issues and things. So school districts will be making some more careful decisions about devices than they probably did in 2025 and 2024.
Yeah, Josh and I were just talking before you joined that the price of RAM is insane right now. $500 for 32 gigs of RAM. You're looking at the cost of a computer just in memory.
Insanity.
Those damn data centers.
I thought it was the tariffs.
No, data centers.
Oh. All right, Josh, at the end of last year's episode, you asked us what our hopes are. So I'm going to turn it on you now. What is your hope for 2026?
That we have that, and I'll just say this for my district, but I think I want this for most districts, to have a plan for meaningful use for AI for at least high school students, like starting to train them on what ethical and meaningful use of AI is both at school and for real life.
Very nice.
I agree with that. I think, again, we already kind of said it. AI is not just trendy. It's literally here. In 2025, we've seen like Google and others, like it's just coming. It's here. Like it's in the Google search. Like it's here. Our kids are using it at home. So you talk about the equity piece of this. The hope would be that every school district has an AI plan and they're following it. Again, at least at minimum for the high school kids that have just full exposure to it already on their phones or on their home devices. Or the kids that don't have, we need, like, that's the hope. The kids that don't have those devices at home, well, hey, school district, give them that in 2026.
Very nice. I'll put a bow on what you both just said. I think with all the conversation about screen time and teachers and families alike wanting to see students spend less and less time staring at a computer screen and more time collaborating, and with technology prices getting more and more expensive and cybersecurity and privacy concerns, I hope that we end up this year with less tools and less systems for us to manage at the IT level, so we can spend more time going deeper into the stuff that we already have rather than adopting new things. So I hope we end up with less but more.
Hear, hear. Love that one.
And ribs.
And ribs, yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Chris, where are we going to be?
For 2026, we're going to be all over the place. We have several events planned for the podcast.
How many states do we have scheduled? I think we're up to like half a dozen right now.
Yeah, we're just doing it. We're just doing it all. Mark, you're going to be in Colorado here in February at the Calais conference. I believe that's how you say it. I want to say it right. Yep. And then also in February, we're going to be in Albuquerque, New Mexico, the three of us, for the K-12 Cybersecurity Conference. And then in March, we have the Midwest Tech Talk Security Conference. We'll have COSIN in April and more. All that, we always want to give a shout out to our sponsors that make all this stuff possible. So there's NTP. Email David over at NTP for your SOC, for your cybersecurity stuff. Managed Methods. They can watch what your students are doing, what your staff are doing, protect your Microsoft stuff and your Google Drives. They can have a good look at your stuff. Fortinet for all your firewall needs. Email FortinetPodcast@Fortinet.com. And last but not least, Lightspeed Systems. Check out lightspeedsystems.com for content filter for their Signal product and more. All this because of them and because of you guys that have hung out with us for all of 2025.
I have heard probably of 3 districts signing with NTP for EDR and SOC services in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, David says that they're cheaper, and he follows through on that. Cheaper, but high quality.
Yep. All right, gentlemen, this will likely be the last time that we...
It is. Call it.
No.
We're done here.
Yep, that's it for the year.
Is it? Okay. Well, I guess, gentlemen, see you next year.
Oh, no. Good.
We might not be the same. You share the same pain that I do.
The views and opinions expressed on the K-12 Tech Talk podcast are the personal opinions of Josh, Chris, and Mark, and do not represent the views or opinions of our sponsors or other organizations that we're affiliated with. The material and information presented here is for general information and entertainment purposes only. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.
We were buying words about a phrase. ways of the way. And selling songs just as